Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold on, people.
There we go. Hi. It's the Canes Corner podcast brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Trust you guys can all hear me. I think I pushed all the buttons correctly. And we are here after a Carolina Hurricanes 2-1 win in game one of the Eastern Conference quarterfinal series. Antti Raanta was every bit that he needed to be tonight, maybe even a little bit more. And the Hurricanes got 2 power play goals, and the penalty kill was one of the stars of the show. So, really hard to be upset about the way Carolina played tonight. Honestly, can't be upset at all. The Hurricanes were really, really good. This was the game they want to play. And hold 1 second. This is the game they want to play. And if this is the game they want to play, then Carolina was awfully, awfully good tonight. So here we are. I mean, what do you say? We've talked about this before the whole thing started, right? If you're going to win a playoff game, if you're going to win a playoff series, 2 things must happen. 1, you can't lose special teams. 2, you have to get good goaltending. You don't have to get amazing goaltending. You don't have to be what Ilya Sorokin was, pointing behind me because twice tonight he was at the other end of the rink. You don't have to be that. He was outstanding tonight, but Antti Raanta was pretty close to that. He didn't get as much work as Sorokin did. There wasn't as much, congestion around the net as Sorokin had to deal with. And frankly, Sorokin probably got a little bit lucky. Maybe Raanta did too, especially early on a power play try that it looked like a shot had beaten him 5-hole, but it caromed off the inside of his left pad and kicked wide of the goal. But that's the formula. You don't lose special teams. In fact, Carolina won it tonight. And you get good goaltending. And we could talk about the goal that Raanta did allow, but there are bad goals, and then there are fluke goals, and I put that more in the fluke category than I do in the bad category. The shot by Ryan Pulock from his knees, I mean, completely whiffed on it, and Raanta, it wasn't even on net. It was going wide of the net, and Raanta really just tried to stick it out of the way, but I guess the lack of speed on it kind of fooled him a little bit, and it deflects off his the blade of his stick, the paddle of his stick, and went in. So, I mean, kind of a fluke, but I mean, he stopped Matthew Barzal right. I mean, I don't know, 2 minutes later, Horvat across to Barzal, it alone. Raanta makes the stop. How about 2 stops right at the start of the third period? One on Anders Lee after Brady Shea gave the puck away inside Carolina's end. And great save with the glove on Anders Lee. And then, I don't know, 45 seconds, a minute later, here comes Pierre Engvall right down Broadway. And Raanta was again right there. Made a couple of big stops on Brock Nelson in the third period. Antti Raanta was excellent. Excellent tonight. Every bit the first star. So, again, we keep reiterating the same exact points. Playoffs are really, they come down to the little things. What we saw tonight, 2-1, we're going to see that however many more times in this series. I mean, maybe it'd only be 3 if Carolina wins them all. But, I mean, I don't even know what the totals were in this series. I think the totals are 5.5. I mean, I'd make total 4.5. And I still might go under. I don't know how many more games we're going to have that are going to – this game should have had more goals. I mean, the Islanders maybe should have scored at least another goal, right? Considering, Raanta had to deal with 10 high danger chances tonight, and he steered aside all 10. I mean, the goal was a fluke. The goal wasn't even a mid-danger chance. It wasn't even a scoring chance. But it went in. And again, I don't even think it was a shot on goal until it went in. The Hurricanes had plenty of chances to score. I saw somebody there says without Sorokin it's 6-1. I don't think Sorokin had to make that many great saves. I think he was a little fortunate that Carolina, and I think the Islanders did a good job of like some desperate plays in their zone, keeping Nason away from the puck, keeping Burns away from the puck. There were plenty of chances, Stahl away from the puck in tight. There were plenty of chances that Carolina could have had, and they probably should have scored more goals, but I don't know if it was 6. But certainly this game could have been 4, maybe 5. But again, I think it was more circumstance than anything else. I don't know that it was all Sorokin. He did make some good saves. I don't know if he made more good saves than Raanta. He had more opportunities. But look, both goalies played great. And the kind of game we saw tonight that, if the goalies don't play as well, then that's a game that we probably see, 5-4. If Raanta doesn't play well, the Islanders have a handful of goals. And if Sorokin doesn't play well, same deal. And again, I think both sides got a little lucky at times. And there's nothing wrong with getting lucky, right? Nothing wrong. But I think the Hurricanes had this game played the way they wanted to play it. Probably too much power play time, too much special teams time. I think Rod Brindamore would prefer, maybe 2 power plays each way and not 4 each way. Because what that did with as much power play time, especially Carolina didn't get a power play in the 3rd period. So all of Carolina's power plays were concentrated in the first 2 periods. And what it creates, and the Islanders had 3 power plays, is it doesn't allow you to roll 4 lines. So, for instance, the Aho line with Teravainen and Jarvis, which, wasn't bad. It got better as the game wore on. It was good in the 3rd period, I thought. They just weren't on the ice together a lot. The Stahl line played more than any other line in the first 2 periods because, they do the bump-up shifts, whether it's after the power plays or after even killing a penalty. If Stahl is not on the ice with Martinook and Fost, if Aho kills off the end of the power play, the Stahl line comes out. We didn't even see the 4th line all that much at all tonight. So got to have these games played more at 5-on-5, and I think Carolina will be in much better shape. Although it's hard to argue with the 2-1 win. So I want to go through a couple of things. We'll answer some questions here on the side. Hit the subscribe button or the like button or the smash button. I don't know what you do, but whatever you do, so you'll get notified as soon as we do one of these things. And of course, this is going to be the norm for the duration of the playoffs. So we're planning on about 2 months of these live Canes Corner podcast because that's how long it takes to win a Stanley Cup. About 2 months. We're thinking about mid to late June before this ride comes to an end. So let's go through Carolina's power plays, right? The first one, power play goal, Sebastian Aho. He wins a draw, gets the puck out to Necas, who had the puck basically at the point, but in the middle of the ice, all the way up top. He slides it over to Burns on the left point. And Aho, right after winning the draw, just kind of drifted back towards the right faceoff circle. And Burns with a beautiful diagonal pass. Aho one-timer, and it's 1-0. 5 seconds. That's how you draw it up, right? Win a faceoff, draw it back, Necas to Burns to Aho. Boom, we're done. 1-0 Carolina. On the power play, no less. It was like winning a lottery ticket. Or winning a lottery. Not winning a lottery ticket. That wouldn't do you much good. You still have to win the lottery. So that's the power play number 1. Power play number 2, Carolina actually got the puck in, worked it around a little bit, had a shot, I think, blocked. Was it a shot blocked on the power play? And I think it was blocked or missed. And then they reset, and Necas leaves it for Burns in the high slot. And Burns let fly, and there goes Stefan Nason in front of the net with a deflection, and it's 2-0. Now, Carolina, it was probably an ill-received power play because it was, I think, a pretty shaky call on the slash to Ryan Pulock. But you know what? We've seen plenty of bad calls go against Carolina, and your job is to kill off the penalty. And the Islanders didn't kill that penalty off. Of course, they did get a gift goal next. What was it? 27 seconds later, 24. I think it was 24 seconds later. Obviously, face off. Pulock, who came out of the penalty box, just shovels it at the net. deflects off Ronta sticking in. But those are the two Carolina power plays that scored. Then power play 3. I didn't like the entries on either of the next two power plays, but when Carolina did finally get the puck in, neither power play in terms of possession and just creating some opportunities, neither power play was dreadful. It was just how long it took Carolina to get the puck in and set up that was so frustrating. And I still think that there's a little too much kind of looseness with their entries. There are times where, you know what, your game is forechecking and puck retrieval. Sometimes just shoot it in and go get it. I mean, you'll probably win the puck, so at least it's in, and now you're basically in the type of game that you want to play anyway. So when they struggle to get the puck in the zone, man, just fire it in, dump it, chase, go get it. Anyway, the power play was certainly good enough. If you put that power play on the ice the rest of this series, Carolina should be in pretty good shape. They won some offensive zone faceoffs. That was cool. And especially on the first one, Sebastian Aho wins the draw and then finishes the play. The penalty kill. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what this team is about, right? Second best PK in the entire sport behind Boston. Boston's got like the best everything. That's how you win 65 games, I think it was, 65, whatever. A lot. They set the record for wins in a season. But four Islander power plays. Here's the first one was the Islanders' best. That power play, to me, looked lethal. And frankly, that was the only power play where Ronta had to be outstanding, and he was. He made 3 really good saves. On the last one, that was the shot, I believe, from Anders Lee that Antti probably got a little bit lucky on. It got through him, but it also caromed off the back of his leg or pad and kicked wide of the net. So for the same price, that gets through and goes in, and you go, well, that's a power play goal. But that's not the way it worked out. It went off of Ronta and wide of the net. But he had to make some other good saves on the power play. So that was the first one. There were also a couple of missed shots. That was, the best Islander power play. From then on, Carolina's penalty kill was spectacular. The second one, there was 1 shot on goal, 1 blocked shot. The next 2 combined 0 shots on goal and 1 missed shot. So in the last 2 power plays, including the one deep into the third period, the Islanders got 0 shots on goal. Again, that's what Carolina's penalty kill has been like for the better part of this calendar year. They were operating at the end of the year by, 84.4% is how they closed the season. And it's probably been at about 88% for the last 3 months. And I'll go back and do the math on that, but I'm just guessing here. Because remember, for a good chunk of the first 2.5 months of the season, Carolina's PK was in the 70s. They were struggling to get it over 80%. And they finished at 84%. So, again, my guess is they were probably at around 88% for the last 2.5, maybe 3 months of the season. It really has been really, really good. So, again, the formula. Get good goaltending. That was Antti Ronta. Special teams, don't lose them. They won special teams tonight, and they win it 2-0. Couple of players I wanted to highlight that I thought played a very good game. Then we'll go through some questions here, and then we'll call it a night. But we got about another 15 or so minutes here, and I do want to go through some questions. I thought Jesperi Kotkaniemi was noticeably good tonight all night. I thought Stefan Noesen was also noticeably good tonight all night. That line with Martin Necas as the wingman, I thought was very, very effective. And they drew a tough assignment because they had the Nelson, Palmieri, Engvall line, which really has been a very good line. And the Kotkaniemi line, I think, dominated it. Defensively, they were outstanding, but they also had the puck a lot. And we're still in a position where we don't get the most out of a lot of the scoring opportunities, a lot of the puck possession that they have. But I'm not going to complain when they do what they did to that line. Kyle Palmieri is a money goal scorer. Brock Nelson has been as good against the Hurricanes as any of the Islanders. And Pierre Engvall, on the low, has been a better player for the Islanders than Bo Horvat has been for the Islanders. Engvall's been that good since coming over from Toronto. And Carolina shut that line down. Effectively, Carolina's defense and puck possession kind of held the Islanders to a minimal number of scoring chances, albeit they had some really good ones, and Raanta had to be great. The Staal line took care of Horvat, Anders Lee, and Matthew Barzal. And again, at 5-on-5, I think Staal's line was outstanding. I do think that in the third period, there were a few more opportunities for that trio, for the Islanders' top trio. And I'm not sure that Rod wants to maybe think about just giving the Staal line. They played a lot. Staal played a lot tonight. Jordan Martinook played a lot tonight. And I don't know if you want Martinook playing 19 minutes in this game, but that line was called upon to deal with the Barzal line a lot. And I think the Islanders were probably trying to get them out on the ice even more, because I know there were some situations where the Barzal line was out against the fourth line, the Hurricanes' fourth line. So especially after as many icings as we had in the third period. But anyway, thought the Staal line played really well. Really, all the lines. I mean, I don't even have any problem with the Aho line. They didn't have a ton of the puck. They didn't get a lot of great scoring chances. Most of the 5-on-5 scoring chances came from the Staal line and the Kotkaniemi line. But I also think the Aho line didn't give up a lot. You didn't hear Zach Parise or Jean-Gabriel Pageau, who was the goal scorer here the last time the Hurricanes and Islanders played in this building before tonight. Hudson Fasching, I mean, he drew one penalty, but I thought Carolina's all three Carolina lines played well defensively tonight. We didn't see a ton of the fourth line. And I mean, that's okay. But that's what happens when you've got 4 power plays each way. Something has got to give. And in this game tonight, it was Carolina's fourth line. So I just wanted to single out Kotkaniemi and Nason for playing well. Brent Burns, best skater on the ice, in my opinion. I thought Nason was outstanding tonight. And I loved Jalen Chatfield's game. He didn't play a ton. He really didn't. But he's so noticeable with the plays he makes. He had to end up, killing some penalties because Brady Shea was in the box twice. Probably not Brady's finest game tonight. I thought he and Pesce were just kind of okay. I thought Jacob Slavin had a few squirrely moments there, but he's still Jacob Slavin, and he makes a lot more outstanding plays than he makes poor ones. But I thought that Chatfield had some noticeably good defensive plays tonight. He came back to, I think it was Engvall coming in on something that could have been a break-in on Raanta, and Chatfield erased it. He also made a great play behind his own net on one of the Islanders' power plays to just completely rub out a scoring opportunity. But I thought Chatfield was noticeably good tonight, and I thought Shane Gostisbehere played very well tonight. But the Hurricanes, this was the Hurricanes game in a nutshell. It was puck possession. It was being heavy below the goal line. It was making, the Islanders transition out of their own zone very, very difficult. I thought Carolina was the better team in the neutral zone. It was a little frantic at times, a little spastic at times, but I really loved Carolina's game tonight. It's a shame it didn't generate more than 2 goals, but it's a shame the Islanders didn't generate more than 1, right? Two is more than 1, last I checked. All right. So let's get to some of your questions. There's a lot in here. I appreciate this. I'm sure this question came up a lot, so we'll answer Jay's right off the bat. Does Raanta start game 2? Please say yes. Well, I mean, it's not my decision, but I don't see how you don't start Antti Raanta based on the way he played. So I think Rod said it today. He actually said he'll be surprised if we don't see both goaltenders in the series. Now, he did say, I hope I don't have to, but I think he will, and I think I will. I think even if Ronta plays well on what day is Wednesday? I think even if Ronta plays well on Wednesday, I can see Freddie playing in New York on Friday. I can see that. Anderson played pretty well against the Islanders this year. So, and the Islanders are not one of those teams that really puts a ton of offensive pressure on you. So I could see getting Freddie going. Look, Ronta earned the net. And I do believe that Freddie, if he played well in the third period in Florida, I think Freddie probably would have started tonight. But the giveaway and then the bad Duclair goal that he allowed basically opened the door for Rod to say, well, Ronta deserves it. And maybe he was going to do that anyway. But I'm glad Ronta started. I love the way he played. And yeah, I would imagine he's going to start in game 2 on Wednesday. Paul, Turbo looked good tonight. Natchez was solid. I thought that Jarvis had a tough night. Need more from him. All right, I disagree about a couple of things there. I thought the Teravainen, Aho, Jarvis line was good tonight. But I think they were not good offensively. I think they made life difficult for Pajot, Parise, and who was it? Hudson Fasching. I think you would have liked to have seen the Aho line take more advantage offensively, but Pajot is a really, really good defensive center. So he's a good two-way player. So, I mean, it's not a terrible matchup for the Islanders. I don't mind that matchup if I'm New York, but I thought the Aho line was certainly the best period was the third period. I thought they made it difficult on New York in the third period. I didn't dislike anybody on that line. They just did not do a lot offensively at 5-on-5 tonight. From Colin, they won the last game. Okay, they won the last game in spite of the goalie. That one in Florida, they won this one because of the goalie. Yeah, I don't think they won the Florida game in spite of Freddie Anderson. They were better than Florida. They won that game because they were the better team. They were the better team again tonight, but Ronta had to make some big saves. And that was great. We did have a great atmosphere at PNC Arena. It's always a great atmosphere here. I think it's something that Hurricanes fans should be incredibly proud of. It really is a phenomenal place to be for playoff hockey. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that I've been to a ton of other buildings for playoff hockey. I was in Edmonton during the 2006 Stanley Cup Finals. Chills. I was in Boston for the Eastern Conference Finals in 2019. Chills. I've covered playoff series in Washington back when the Capitals, they hadn't won a cup yet, but back when the Capitals were really good and just could not find some playoff success. But for start to finish, I mean, just start to finish atmosphere, this is an incredible building. And it is loud. And yes, when Aho scored the goal 5 minutes in, I mean, just you couldn't hear yourself think. So I thought, it's just a great it's a great building. I get a little weary of the cliched "what do you think of these fans" kind of questions, but you know what? The fans were great. I think the fans deserve their flowers, if you will. All right. I guess if you guys just want to talk amongst selves, that's fine. But again, yeah, there's a lot of stuff in the chat about how well Teravainen played, and I thought that line was good. There wasn't anybody who I thought played poorly tonight. I think Carolina, they're going to need basically all 18 skaters to play well. I mean, that's the reality of what Carolina is right now. I mean, it's not a team that's going to wow you. I've said this before. If Carolina had their full complement, and we'll ignore the fact that Andre Kasha was ever on the roster. But if Carolina had their full complement and you have Andrei Svechnikov and Max Pacioretty, they'd be more dynamic offensively. But that's not what they are. So it really, to me, is more of a team that resembles the one that made the playoffs for the first time in 2019. It's not quite the same thing because there's maybe a little bit more skill, but that team had a lot of Greg McKeggs, Patrick Brown made his Hurricanes debut in the playoffs. Warren Fogle, who was just kind of a grinder, and I mean, this roster right now resembles that a little bit. It has to play a certain way to be effective. It just has to. But there's also a little bit more that they can get from that group. There's more they can get from Necas. I know he had 2 assists tonight. It's actually the one player that I think could have given a little bit more. Now, he wasn't bad, right? But because I think Kotkaniemi was excellent tonight. If he's going to play that well, and I thought Nason was also very good, then, man, that should create so many opportunities for Necas, but he was not able to turn those into grade A opportunities. Nason was on top of the net most of the night. Again, the Stahl line, and I'll be interested to see what Rod does on the road. Maybe in this series it won't matter, but maybe on the road he might even divide the Stahl line up just a little bit, because it'll get wasted if you play the Rangers or the Devils in the second round, and obviously one of those teams will be your opponent. You're not going to get the opportunity to throw the Stahl line out against one of their better lines. You're just not. So we'll see. But Necas had some chances tonight to really turn them into big chances, and he wasn't able to do it. And maybe that's just circumstance, end of a shift or whatever. But I loved what I saw from pretty much everybody tonight. From Josh, is the lack of Islanders depth going to make this a short series? Well, I don't know what would make this a short series. I mean, if Carolina did what we saw tonight 3 more times, it could be. But I don't think the Islanders have a lack of depth at all. I think the Islanders have a very good complement of forwards once they got Matthew Barzal back. Lee, Horvat, Barzal, Palmieri, Brock Nelson, Pierre Engvall, who again has played well. Jean-Gabriel Pageau is a third-line center. I mean, he's good. Zach Parise's had a big year for them. The fourth line, their identity line with Cizikas, Martin, and Clutterbuck, that's an impactful line. The biggest difference between the Islanders and the Hurricanes is the fact that Carolina's way more dynamic on the blue line. I mean, just much more dynamic offensively on the blue line. Brent Burns is an elite offensive defenseman. Even at his age, at 37, he's still great. Brady Shea, who probably wasn't at his best tonight. Brady Shea's got 18 goals this year. I mean, every single person on Carolina's blue line will jump into the play. That's how they generate long shifts. So I think that's the difference between these two teams, that Carolina is just so much more dynamic offensively on the blue line, and they're going to need it. We've been living this for the last, 3.5, 4 weeks since the Svechnikov injury. I went through it today in the Storm Watch. Carolina, since the Svechnikov injury, Jesperi Kotkaniemi is the leading scorer. He's got 6 goals and 13 points. Sebastian Aho is next, got 9 goals, 12 points. Then you've got Brent Burns and Brady Shea with each with 6 goals. So that's where your offense has been coming from the last really month since the Vegas game. That was 18 games. They played 18 regular season games without Andrei Svechnikov. Marty Necas' offense kind of dried up a little bit at the end. He had, I think, 3 goals and 6 assists in the 18 games. It's not terrible, 9 points in 18 games, but it's not what Necas was doing earlier. Seth Jarvis had, I think, 1 goal and 6 assists. Teuvo Teravainen 2 and 2. So when you need offense without Andre, you've only really been getting it from 4 basic spots. So they're going to need more. And they need more from Jarvis and Teravainen and Necas as we get into these playoffs. 2 goals a night isn't going to be enough. You're going to have to get to 3, maybe 4. I do think that I'll be surprised if it's more than once that 3 goals doesn't win a game in this particular series. I think it's a race to 3. If you get 3, I'll be surprised if you don't win. Colin, I saw Corey say on Twitter that Svetch said he is hoping to start the year with the team. I heard that from Corey too. I was not around Andre, but I did talk to him like three or so times. He was wondering why there were no M&Ms on press row. I'm telling you, I love that guy so much. He is just super fun, great personality. Anyway, and a sharp light gray suit tonight. I don't know. I mean, he said it's 6 to 9 months. The early part of that takes us to September because the injury happened at the end of early March, right? I think early March the injury happened. So April, May, June, July, August, September, October, start of the season. So look, I think if you can get Andrei Svechnikov back on the ice by, I don't know, Christmas, that would be awesome. You can probably afford to be somewhat patient because Carolina can win without him in the regular season. I think you can win a bunch of games and keep yourself in it. So I wouldn't rush him back, but if he's ready, he's ready. And Andre's walking without a limp. I'm watching. No limp, no brace. I saw him wearing a knee brace the other day, but I mean, he was walking around here, pair of sneakers and a suit. Looked pretty good to me. I don't think he can play. So again, I think we have people have a difference of opinion about how many goals could have gone in tonight. That I've seen a lot of 6-1, 7-1. I don't believe so. But there were scoring chances, but the Islanders had scoring chances too. So I think the score line probably is, maybe this could have been a 3-2 game, a 4-2 game, even a 4-3 game. But I think, again, both goaltenders played well. It wasn't just one-sided. Antti Raanta played well. He played just about as well as the other guy. I think the other guy just had a few more opportunities to play. And then finally, we'll close on. Actually, I'll give you two more questions. Thoughts on Derek Stepan starting over Jesse Puljujarvi? Well, the fourth line didn't get a ton of ice time tonight. As a matter of fact, let me see if I can figure out exactly how much ice time the fourth line got. So before I completely make a fool out of myself, Drury played 8.5 minutes. Stepan played 7.5 minutes. Stastny played 7 minutes. So not a lot of ice time for that line. But I have no problem with Rod Brind'Amour putting a right-handed faceoff guy on the ice. And I mean, if you want to say Puljujarvi should play over Paul Stastny, I'm okay. I didn't think that. I mean, that was hard to really get a read on that line tonight because it just barely played. But I didn't love Stastny's game when I saw, but again, it's unfair because they barely played. But if I was going to take anyone off the ice, because I think the right shot face-off guy is important, I would take Stastny off the ice. I thought there was a couple of plays that Jack Drury needed to play harder. Twice in the defensive zone, he just didn't get enough on a clearing attempt, and the puck stayed in the zone, and it created some opportunities. So they're going to need Drury to be a little bit better, but I don't see Drury coming out of the lineup because he gives them some speed, and I think he's got some finish to him that I just want to see him get a few more opportunities. But I don't have the same burning desire some of you have to see Jesse Puljujarvi play. I mean, I'm not going to argue against it, but I didn't see a team's game tonight that missed Jesse Puljujarvi. I mean, they were physical. They matched the Islanders' physicality, and the Islanders are going to be physical. And Black Cats Hurricanes says it could use some goals from that fourth line. Yeah, fourth line didn't play. It does need to get on the ice, but take care of that at 5-on-5. More 5-on-5 play. I don't believe I have anything else. Appreciate your time, everyone. This has been the Canes Corner podcast, brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it there at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. My 3 stars of the game, as usual. My stars are better than the ones in the arena. No, I'm just kidding. I had Nason 3, Burns 2, Ronta 1. And I thought Burns was the best skater in the entire game. And I thought Nason was this close to 2, maybe 3 goals. But, puck happens. Whatever. We'll see everybody Wednesday. We'll do this again after the game on Wednesday night. Hurricanes and the Islanders, game 2 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinal series. Antti Raanta, by the way, I'll close on this stat. 3 straight game 1 wins in which he allows just 1 goal. Of course, I think he got hurt in game 2s in each of the second games. So maybe Carolina should be careful. Put Auntie in bubble wrap on Wednesday. Anyway, we'll see everybody Wednesday night. I am Adam Gold. This has been the Canes Corner podcast, brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy and his crew do a great job. Get a free, no obligation estimate online, aluminumcompany.com. Follow the Canes Corner podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, we're here on YouTube after every Hurricanes game. So hit the subscribe button. I don't even know what the button is. Just hit it. You know what it looks like. Hit it. And so it shows up automatically. Until then, I'll see everybody later.